bring some sparks down on her. And there she goes. And there you go. Oh. One taper match. Enjoy! Well, I've got to make some char cloth because we've got a little event coming up in June, and I want to give the public a go at using the flint and steel, and I might like the char cloth. So I've been making some up. You need little tins to do it in, is the best thing. I'm sure you all know this. But I thought as soon as I'm doing it, I'd film it. And you want to fill the tins up. It wants to be pure cotton. The little oblong tins, square tins, they're not bad. You can just cut them to shape roughly by just placing the tin on it and fill them up that way. This is all a pinky material, 100% pure cotton, which once upon a time were a pair of the wife's pajama bottoms. But I'm sure she doesn't know they've done. But anyhow, and then you get the rounder tins. These are all full. Again, you want to fill them up as much as you can. But unfortunately, to do these ones, you have to put the tin on the material, draw around it and cut them out, and it takes an eternity. As you can see, the pen mark's just a felt tip pen. And then fill them up. When they're a screw lid, I would suggest putting a small little hole in to let the gases out so they don't explode. When they're a flip tin like that, you can feel that's not airtight, so it's going to let the gases out hopefully without popping. Same with these ones, but that's quite as a good seal. For some reason that one had rolled up on the top. How bizarre. Just cut to shape, plugged on, as flat as you can get, and shut the lid on. But again, I've put a little air vent hole in that, and another one I've done, again a screw lid. If it's a screw lid, they tend to be more airtight, and just flatten them out. That's sucked in there. And I'm going to get a fire going and place them in the fire, which I'll show you, and we'll show you all the way through how they do, and even test them at the end of it. So that's that bit. I'll get the fire going. Well, we got the fire going, as you can see. You didn't need to watch me do a fire again, I'm sure. So I'm going to strategically place the tins into the fire and leave them there. So I'll put that one there. Oh, that's good. That one, the ones that kept chilly. In the back there. Windy days. That one in there. And that one next to that one there. And then I'm going to get some timber on top of that and just let it cook away slowly. Right in the fire, all nested in. Put a bit of pine over the top just to get it going. Let's see how it does. As like I've said before with any fire, always make sure you get all the material ready before you start. And what you're aiming to do is create the coals that are going to drop down onto the tins, and charcoal what's inside. So we won't put any more on there for a minute. We've got plenty to go. We'll just let that catch and we'll see what happens. And it's pretty much as simple as that. Don't be tempted to take the tins out of the fire. Leave them in there, have the fire. They normally take about 15 minutes, half an hour, depending on how big the tin is, what you've got in it. When you do get them out of the fire, don't open them. They've got to be totally cooled down, otherwise they will ignite. Well, maybe you can see, I can see just inside there, there's a tin. Just inside here. Just there. So you know they're getting hot, they're getting scorched in there. You've got to be careful not to set the charcoal on fire. But if it does, it's not a total disaster. A lot of people would tell you to do them in the coals, but I've never had any problem. Although you can see today it's a bit windy, it's certainly getting the flames going. That's why you've got to be careful how much material you put on the fire. And always have some way of putting the fire out, which some of you might have noticed under here. That's full of water. And we'll have another zoom in on her. She's burning in now. Right under there. And we'll see what happens when it's all died down and the heat's got to it and hopefully charred it all. As you can see now, I've pushed all the pieces in on top. By putting the logs around like that, you're encapsulating the area that you want to get the embers and the ashes to go to. And you can see they're all caving in on top of the tins, making sure the material inside is hopefully cooking and turning into char cloth. But you'll never know that until you've had the fire and get them out. If it dies down too much, just add a little bit more timber onto the top. Try and keep the logs to secure the ashes in. It's the embers and the coals you want on top that are cooking away. I just added a little bit more pine over the tins so the ashes keep going on, burying them in ash and hopefully charring the material inside. It's something you've got to watch, stay with, as always you should with fire, but even more so if you're trying to make char cloth or charcoal. So as you can see, I've moved the logs in again, squared it more in, keep all the ashes, all the burning coals on top of the tins. You've got to keep an eye on it when you're trying to do these things. I really am going to eat that pigeon. Never mind. So as you can see now, the flames are dying down. The logs are keeping it all the embers and the coals all encapsulated. Big word for me. And hopefully everything's falling onto the tins and hopefully they're cooking. So we won't add any more to that now. That should be more than enough to do the job. and we'll just wait till it dies down, and when it does we'll go in and have a look. Gotta love fire. So as you can see now, the flames have all died down. We've got hot coals all over where the tins are. You just see a tin in there. I'm sure you can't see it because the camera's not focusing. Where that's cherrying up, there's a tin underneath it. You can just see the edge of it. And there's another tin over there, you can just see the edge of that. And we're just going to let that die down a little, and then we're going to take them out and let them cool off naturally. Right, as you can see, the fire's burnt down, the coals are barely smouldering, so gently I'm going to take some of the coals off, move the logs out of the way, and very gently grab one of the tins. Ooh. And drop her on there. Hi, that's hot. Oh, that was very hot. It's melted like pine resin. Somewhere under this lot. You do have to root from a bit. Oh no, it's opened. It has charred, but it's opened. Damn. Damn, 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 damn. As you can see, the char cloth was good. Oh man, that's a mistake. Is it all gone? Can we put some out? Sugar. Oh, what a bugger, what a waste. I'm not sure, I've never had one do that before. I think they actually melted the pot. Oh, I told you these gloves were crap. But we know it's good char cloth. Keep that bit, that looks like it's gone out. Got all these lovely pieces wandering around now. There's another good one. Actually melted the pot. I hope it's not melted the other ones. So obviously the tin material you're using is going to make a difference. There's your proof. But hey ho, let's see what the next one does. This was an Altoids tin, and these tend to be the best type of tins to use. I was just a bit short of tins, so I'll put that on there. And we've got another one hiding underneath, if it's not melted, which it looks like it has. These aluminium tins are not up to scratch. Down. Again. Man, oh man, oh man. So don't use the aluminium tins. There's the tip for that one. We'll see if we can salvage any out of that in a minute when it's cooled down. If it doesn't all ignite in the meantime. But definitely the metal tins. That was an old shoe polished tin. That was an Altoids tin. These are aluminium tins that have obviously melted in the heat. And they're still going now. It's been really good char cloth, but unfortunately it's not much good when it's like that. Just hope it goes out enough to salvage some. Which it isn't doing there. As you can see, that's a real pain. But this is what happens if you don't unscrew the tin. It will ignite as such. So we're going to try and get that out and see what's happening. See if any's salvageable. And as you can see, it's going up like mad. I think we've lost that little batch, unfortunately. But this is the point of doing it all out back. You learn. That's what it's all about. As you can see, that is one big ember. Nothing salvageable there. Unfortunately, it's all on fire. Might get a little bit out of them. I'll grab these bits out of the way. Some of them up here so they don't catch. That was a bit of a blow. Don't use aluminium tins. Good tip. Never even crossed my mind that the tins would melt. Trying to catch everywhere. So there we go. We'll get back to the other tins shortly. As you can see, it made a right mess of them aluminium tins. Don't use alley tins. And as you can see still, that is still a lovely pile of embers. Made wonderful char cloth. Not got any fire going. So there's something for you to learn. Oh, there's one moving. Let's try to set me up. My axe block on fire. Oh, gone up low. This is why we practice out back in your Outback. So you don't have to put up with mistakes and problems when you're under pressure in the real Outback. This is about 5-10 minutes later and they're still burning. As you can see, the tins are totally melted. All good fun. And a good tip, don't let the missus get your tins. Find them yourself. There we are. Right, well these have totally cooled down now. I can pick them up, they're stone cold. So after the other disaster, let's see what's happening here. If we can get the lid off. I knew this would be a hard one. But I'm hoping. We have char cloth. Yay. Lovely, all the way through. And that's what they should have looked like. So that's one good one. So you can see just a little hole in that because that was a tight fit. And the Altoids tin, which are the best to do, or tobacco tins. If you still get them. And again, beautiful. All the way through. Nice wadge of char cloth. And I'm not going to waste any out of these tins, seeing as though of the little disaster we've just had. I've got to do some more at some point now, when I find some other tins. But I will show you, not that you need to know it's good char cloth, by getting a piece of the other and seeing if we can put a spark to it. It's just not my day today, is it? There she goes. Cracking bit of char cloth. Not wasting it, I've got enough left. Somebody can have a go with that. So that's how you do the char cloth. That, not that. Have fun in your Outback and practice. This is why you practice. Ta-ra.